Robloxians have been abducted from games all across the platform and pulled into a realm of torment and endless trials. They've been brought here by the Spectre, an all-seeing being to pay for their sins, betrayal, loss and corruption, and to face the consequences of their past mistakes. The trials force them to confront regrets and harmful actions, leaving no room to escape. In this realm, death means nothing. They respawn, trapped in a never-ending loop, forced to try again and again. The only way out is to complete the trials, overcome personal flaws, and truly learn from their past mistakes. They have been forsaken. Hello everyone, it's your LocalLunatic here. I make videos reviewing Roblox games, and today I'm gonna be checking out Forsaken, a really popular asymmetrical survival horror game where one killer hunts all the survivors who have to try to survive until the timer hits 0. It's the Roblox equivalent of Dead by Daylight, even down to the lore of the game, with an entity pulling characters into its never-ending hellish realm. But instead of having characters such as Michael Myers, Ghostface, Springtrap, and Vecna from Stranger Things, and maps from the franchises those characters are from, Forsaken have a bunch of iconic Roblox characters and maps from different games and myths, maps such as the Pizza Place from Work the Pizza Place, Flood Escape, and really old and forgotten games such as Underground War, and even old Roblox events such as the 2008 Halloween event, Yorick's Resting Place. And the game has characters such as a classic Roblox noob, guests, Elliot the Work the Pizza Place delivery boy, former Roblox administrator John Shaletsky, and even Builderman himself is here too. And infamous Roblox hackers, both real and fake. Well, Jason Voorhees is also here, or Slasher as he is now called cause they couldn't legally use the character, but he's a part of Roblox lore too. He's based on Jason from Survive and Kill the Killers in Area 51, and as someone who's always been fascinated with old Roblox lore, I think the story the developers have created based on it is really cool, putting their own spin on it, and it works so well, with Cool Kid being 007 and 7's kid, cause 007 and 7 was the leader of the Cool Kid hacker group, and Shaletsky's accidental creation of 1x1x1. As I'm sure most of you know, Shaletsky was the one who created the 1x1 myth way back in the day, and in this game 1x1 was also accidentally created by him, and it's a manifestation born from his suppressed hatred and arrogance. And the music that goes along with this is absolute peak. Certain characters have music that plays when it's just the two of them that really tells a story and captures what the relationship is like. I'll play a little bit for you guys and hope and pray this video doesn't get copyright claimed. The soundtrack for this game is easily one of the best parts, if not the best. As for the gameplay of the game, I gave a basic summary earlier, but there's a lot more to it than that. It's not just as simple as one player is the killer and have to try and hunt down all survivors who are trying to survive until the timer hits 0. You see, where this game stands out from a lot of other survive the killer type of games is that all survivors and killers have their own unique abilities. Let's start with the free survivors. First up, we got Noob. Noob has free items with him, a Bloxy Cola, which can temporarily increase his speed. This is the same Bloxy Cola which can be found littered around the maps, which any of the survivors can pick up. He also has a Slate Skin potion, which as the name suggests, changes his skin to slate. Perfect for hiding and blending in with slate. This right here isn't the exact same color, but you get the idea. And the final item is the Ghost Burger, which makes him invisible. Next we got Elliot, the delivery boy from Work the Pizza Place. He can throw pizzas which heal all the survivors. He can't heal himself with it though. He also has an ability called Rush Hour, which makes him run really fast for a few seconds. Good for a quick getaway, but it doesn't last very long. Next up is Shaletsky, a former Roblox administrator. He can slash the killer with his sword and heal himself with his fried chicken. All of the survivors from here on out are paid, meaning you have to purchase them with player points in the shop, which can be earned just by playing the game, completing puzzles, surviving the whole round, and killing players as the killer. First we got Two Time, a member of the Spawn cult who worships the Spawn. They have a dagger which they can use to backstab the killer, and a crouch for stealth and speed, as well as a ritual ability which will let them respawn once per round. Next we got guest 1347, who is, well, obviously a guest, but it's not just any ordinary guest. He's the very last guest, and it's from Oblivion's HD's The Last Guest series. He's a fighter and he can charge at the killer, block their attacks, and even punch them. Next is Builderman, who can obviously build things, such as the Sentry, which is essentially a turret that can shoot the killer, and the Dispenser, which can heal all the survivors including Builderman himself. The machines can be destroyed though if the killer hits them. Next is 007 and 7, a former Roblox exploiter slash hacker back in 2014, who created the infamous Cool GUI and was the leader of Team Cool Kid, which would hack popular games such as Work at the Pizza Place and Natural Disaster Survival. Now, how is he one of the survivors and not the killers? In the Forsaken lore, he regrets his past and is trying to redeem himself. His abilities allow him to clone himself, tricking the killer. He can even control the clone. There are different ways of controlling it. He also got the Cool GUI, which lets them teleport anywhere on the map, even all the way across to the other side. And then there's Duzikar, another former Roblox employee, who uses magic for the Staff of the Winds, which lets them spawn a shield around players, protecting them from getting hit, and he can also fire off plasma beams at the killers, stunning them. Next is Taff, who is not an official Roblox employee or admin, but a vigilante who uses traps such as tripwires and subspace trip mines. Next is Chance, who leaves everything up to chance. High risk, high reward. This guy has a mad gambling addiction, flipping a coin for literally anything. Shoot the killer, flip a coin for it. Fix his hat, flip a coin for it. And then there's the final survivor, at least for now, the one that was most recently added, Veronica. Currently the only female character in the game, though developers are adding more, such as Jane Doe. Being a robot, she can't get healed by normal healing items such as medkits, Elias Pizza, or Builderman's dispensers. Instead, she has to recharge her battery by completing generators. She can then activate her battery to heal herself. She can also vandalize, spray painting graffiti on walls, and in these graffiti zones she can skate, she can jump, perform tricks, and bounce off walls. She has 3 different skating modes, which can change what happens when she collides with the killer. Face mode faces through the killer. Bumper mode knocks the killer back. Mobile mode enhances turning control after tricks but increases self-damage from crashes. And that's all the survivors. Let's move on to the killers. There's only one free killer in the game, and that's Jason, also known as Slasher. He's definitely the most basic and simplest to understand, which is why he's the default killer in the game. He has the regular slash ability, which you'll see as we work our way down the list that all the killers have. He also has an ability called Behead, which does not actually behead players, but it hits them in the head. Then there's Gashing Wound, which makes them slash them multiple times. And last, there's Raging Pace, which shows them where all the survivors are on the map. This is another one pretty much every killer has a version of. Next, we got Cool Kid. His abilities consist of Punch, which is a regular slash ability, Corrupt Nature, which lets them throw bricks at someone's head, Walk Speed Override, which lets them launch themselves as a survivor, and Pizza Delivery, which lets them summon corrupted pizza delivery minions, which will attack nearby survivors. Next is John Doe, who of course has the regular slash ability like all the others, as well as Corrupt Energy, which lets them summon a bunch of spikes up from the ground, useful for trapping players and hitting them as well. Digital Footprint makes them stomp and create a circle, which if the survivors step in will corrupt them, and his final ability is 404 Error, which you actually need to use at the beginning of the round if you want to use it at all. It highlights where the survivors are for a little while, but only works at the beginning of the round. As for 1x1x1, he has Slash, Mass Infection, which is a beam he can throw at survivors which deals damage. Entanglement works the same way, except it's smaller and deals less damage. However, it stuns them for a little while, preventing them from running away, as they have a bunch of pop-ups on the screen, which they have to close, giving 1x1 a lot of time to hit them. Unstable Eye highlights all the survivors' locations, and Rejuvenate the Rotten summons minions who help them killing survivors. Moving on to Nolly, who uses the power of the Void Star. He can stab players, and then there's Void Rush. His Void Rush deals very little damage, but makes them hallucinate. Nova is like a bomb and deals a powerful blow and pulls nearby survivors towards the blast sensor on impact. An Observant lets Nolly teleport to different generators around the map. When playing as Nolly, you automatically spawn fake generators around the map. You don't have to do anything for this just happens on its own. And these can't be completed. They just reset every time survivors complete them. And they also make them hallucinate. Next is Guest 666, which is a big furry devil thingy, which is a weird design choice in my opinion. I think he looks way cooler as an actual guest, which he is in the myth, but here he looks pretty goofy. Anyway, his abilities are Carving Slash, which is a regular slash, Demonic Pursuit, which makes them grab the survivors and start scratching their face, Internal Cry forces survivors to face him, temporarily blinds them and highlights them, Blood Rush lets them smell their blood and also highlights where they are, Last but not least, we got Nosferatu, who is a vampire character based on this vampire outfit bundle. Lacerate is a regular slash. Bloodhook lets them hook a survivor to a chain and pull them towards them, and then slash them once they're close enough. It is possible to escape this one. Cataclysm turns them invisible and lets them move around at really high speed. A bit difficult to control, but if you manage to do it, you can hit a survivor, which deals damage in addition to highlighting them. Hunter's Feast summons a swarm of bats which can bite survivors, but deals minimal damage, and its last ability is Ascension, which lets them fly around the map as a bat. And that's all survivors and killers. It's a pretty complex game with a lot to learn and keep in mind when playing. I don't think either the survivors or the killers have an unfair advantage over the other. It seems pretty even and fair, well balanced. I like that not all survivors are completely defenseless, and if you stick together as a team, you can bully the killer, constantly hit them, stunning them, and heal each other when the killer actually manages to hit you back. They all also have great animations. Oh, and I forgot to say earlier, there are also these generators around the map which you can fix, but these do absolutely nothing other than give you player points. They don't unlock an exit like they do in Dead by Daylight. There's no exit in Forsaken. There's no way to escape the map. You just gotta survive until the timer hits 0. That's how you win as a survivor. And obviously you win by killing all survivors as a killer. And there it is, that's the game. However, the video isn't over just yet. As much as I've been gushing about the game in this video so far, there's a big elephant in the room that I've been ignoring up until now. I can't make a review on Forsaken without talking about the game's many controversies. This is probably one of the most controversial games on Roblox, and it's not really about the game itself, as it's genuinely a great game, probably one of the best and most high quality games on the whole platform. No, this is developer drama, which is especially about the original owner of the game, Soul Driven Love. I have binge watched all of Gramgo's videos about the situation, and I'm gonna do my best to give you a summary of it. It's a very messy and complicated situation. I won't be going into great detail about it, as this is just a quick summary. If you're interested in that, there are plenty of videos and several documents that do exactly that. Also, none of these things have ever been 100% confirmed, and no legal action have been taken against Soul or anyone else on the team. So I'm gonna be saying allegedly and accused a lot when talking about this, because I don't want to get sued. This whole situation is really gross and disturbing, with racism, psychological abuse and inappropriate behavior towards minors. So skip to the timestamp on screen if you don't want to watch it, and without further ado, let's get into it. Soul Driven Love is accused of having stolen $2 million in funding from Forsaken and $60,000 from charity events with her girlfriend Ava, also known as Star Driven Love, allegedly, and financially supporting a racist neo-Nazi attempted murderer, allegedly, and at one point having known predators as a part of the dev team, allegedly, which have since been fired, allegedly, even accused of being one themselves, having had multiple inappropriate relationships with minors, and sharing CP on Discord, allegedly, with apparently one of the victims even getting hospitalized trying to end themselves because of this. After being exposed, Soul decided to address the drama by trying to emotionally manipulate, twist and bend the truth to make themselves look better, claiming they had changed and that this happened years ago when they were a lot younger, but it's been proven time and time again that Soul hasn't changed at all. They play the victim card, claiming they've been a victim of grooming themselves, using that as an excuse to justify their actions. As for the neo-Nazi who committed a hate crime, trying to kill a guy just because he was Turkish, Soul portrays themselves as noble for sticking up for this person, claiming he was mentally ill and is doing much better now that he's been in rehab. It's all just PR, damage control, trying to fix the broken reputation. Realizing Forsaken was being dragged down into the mud with them due to this surfacing, Soul agreed to transfer ownership to 2 of the developers on the team, Haitoko and Basil, and Soul no longer being a part of the dev team and stepping away from the internet entirely, or at least that's what everyone was told. Haitoko and Basil announced that they were the new owners of the game, and apparently they had completed the proper paperwork for this, but then Soul still went ahead and sold the game behind their backs to a third party anyway, which, if the proper paperwork really was signed, would be an illegal sale. However, there's been a lot of debate in the community about whether or not it actually was, or if they just agreed to transfer the ownership over Discord, as the developers are pretty young and immature, with not a whole lot of experience in handling giant IPs like this. I don't know for sure whether or not this sale was real or fake. I have no idea, I kinda just have to go off of what's been said, but sometimes conflicting things were said, so take everything with a grain of salt. Like I said earlier, this situation is very messy and has no clear answers, but regardless of whether or not the game was ever sold, Haitoko and Basil managed to regain ownership of the game, apparently with the help of Soul, which is an immediate red flag, but at least Soul wasn't the owner again, right? Question mark? Now why would Soul revert the sale? What would they get out of that? Maybe the deal didn't go through? Maybe whoever was purchasing the game changed their mind, feeling like the game's reputation was down the drain and not worth it. Maybe the sale truly was illegal and proper paperwork had been signed. Maybe the sale was never real in the first place, just a fake rumor. Nobody knows, besides the people involved obviously, but they're not saying anything due to NDA. Apparently all this stuff about Soul no longer having any involvement in the game was just BS, as it was proven by leaked Discord messages that Soul was still very much involved, and not just that, but still the owner of the game. But I just stepped away from the spotlight. The announcement of Hitoko and Basil being the new owners was just to save the game's reputation. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, Soul was still very much the owner and pulling all the strings. Now apparently in December, Soul was finally gone, with Hitoko and Basil being the new owners for real this time. And that might be true, but it's been leaked that Soul still receives a 25% cut of the game's earnings. The Vincent account has been proven to be Soul's alt. I get why people are mad about Soul receiving a cut and them keeping it hidden, but at the same time, that's how negotiations like this work. When doing negotiations like this, everyone involved has to sign an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, and if they break that agreement, they can get sued. And Soul owned the game, and this is probably the only deal they were willing to agree to. That is just how these things work. It's pretty common for former game owners to earn a percentage of the earnings. We've seen this with other Roblox games that have been sold in the past, and here's the thing, Soul hasn't been legally charged with anything. There's nothing stopping them from getting that share. Now I think a big reason as to why people are so mad at Hitoko especially is because he didn't stay silent. He told the community time and time again that Soul didn't have any involvement anymore. And while it might technically be true that they don't have any involvement in game development anymore, that is still not something you should say so vaguely when the individual is secretly still earning money from the game. Hitoko is also in a bit of controversy himself at the moment, with a very public drama with an ex of an alleged toxic relationship. So there it is. That's the Forsaken drama, and why this game is so controversial. That and the fact that the game also has a very weird and disgusting side of the community that goons to these characters, making NSFW out of them. And that's not even the worst side of the community, as there's also a toxic part of it that has made literal cult based on the cult in the game. The Spawn cult, the one that the character 2-Time is a part of. This cult is called Spawnism, and they worship the Spawn, the classic Roblox Spawn. They believe that if they believe in the Spawn, they'll respawn when they die. I don't know if most people in the cult genuinely believes it, or they're just having fun with it, trolling, but there are a lot of people in this cult making people self-harm, taking it way too far, where it's no longer just a silly meme cult. Not everyone who plays Forsaken is a horrible person, however, and someone playing the game doesn't mean they're a part of this side of the community, or condone everything the developers have allegedly done. Most players are probably kids who don't even know about the drama on Twitter, so don't harass anyone playing the game. That goes for every other game too, not just Forsaken, beyond games even. TV shows, books, anything. Liking something doesn't mean you condone or agree with the creator's actions, or that they're a part of the toxic side of the fandom. There's a toxic side to every fandom, probably even ones you're in. I think it's a shame that the game has so much controversy around it, and has gained such a terrible reputation, cause like I said previously, the game is genuinely really good, and a lot of fun. Definitely my type of game, and something I can see myself playing. Forsaken is truly a great game by terrible people. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe to let me know, and click the little bell icon to be notified every time I upload. Unlike all the characters in the game who are stuck there for all eternity, I'm just gonna simply leave the game and say bye bye!